So if you're an entrepreneur, one of the hardest things about it is just getting people to know you exist, right? You have this knowledge, you have this subject matter expertise, you have a product that can help people solve a problem. And a real tragedy of entrepreneurship is that you can have this, and then your market doesn't know that you have this skill. And there's a rule of marketing that says you got to tell people 7 times what you do before they really understand what your product is and who the hell you are. Each video is a satellite of opportunity, just like flying around. There's some on LinkedIn, there's some on YouTube, there's some they're using for sales, all manner of thing. On your website, when people go there and they want to learn about your product, there's a nice warm welcome video there, right? Having all those videos out there helps solve that problem of giving a customer 7 touches, right? As for how an entrepreneur would get started in this kind of work, there's a lot of barriers that we feel. There's things like it needs to be at a certain level. There's questions like imposter syndrome. Do I even have the right to talk to this camera and share my ideas? And so the best thing that most folks can do is just get started. And if you're an entrepreneur who gets started, whether it's using video as a sales tool, which is something really powerful. If you're trying to send over a proposal and then you include a short little video that talks a little bit more about the vision of how you could work together, whether it's posting things on socials, just getting started is the best way to slowly improve, rather than let's come up with a big plan, let's hire some external media agency, let's do all this big, complicated, architect a really complex system. What most people do is they do that and they get sidetracked. We recommend just get started. Just get started with very low key, low stress videos, and your learning curve will happen pretty quickly. What a lot of them really get overwrought about is a big time content plan and how is this going to drive, new business to our site. And you can get really complicated with those things. A better way to think about this is what happens if we just put a real low-key video on the Facebook page, right? Or whatever it is that people get. Like, just don't make a bunch of fanfare about it. Don't even announce, we're going to start this great web series about this thing to get people to know about our product and what we do. Usually you just want to start very, very gradually. No big announcements. If you post a video on one platform, don't scream about it on all the other platforms to tell people to go watch it. Really just start gradually and find what works for you. If making the first video is such a heavy lift and so painful that you don't want to do it again, you're not doing it right. We want to do this in a way that it's interesting and not soul wrenching to do, which means we're going to make more. And if we're going to make more, we're going to improve. We're going to find out what our audience likes to hear about. We're going to see that how video can be incredibly powerful, getting people interested in our work and understanding how our products and our services as SMB owners can help them. Because a lot of times they don't know we exist. They don't know what we actually do. And that's kind of how I think we should be thinking about those things. We live in a pretty special time, this time where we have a film studio in our pocket, right? The fact that we are carrying around smartphones. This is a societal change that we are still processing. And we can talk about how it's hijacking attention and all these things, but I'm far less interested in that than I am how can this thing help us as entrepreneurs? And the fact that there is a film studio here that can capture our ideas, can hear us talking about the work we do and how it can help people. The fact that we can make these things that can spread across the world if you've just got a camera on your phone and the YouTube app, I don't think we've really adjusted to that. Some days I'm feeling it. Some days my words are just elegant and I'm saying exactly what I want to say in just the right way. Some days I'm not. I didn't sleep well. Maybe I'm hungry. It's interesting that if you have lighting and production on point, if those things are good, that kind of makes up for how, if your words aren't as sharp, having that great production is a nice offset. And I'm doing some work with Intel right now, a program that's helping folks at Intel get better on camera. A lot of these folks do sales. And it's funny, I've met with these people and give them a gear list, walk them through what we're going to do. And then they'll set up this light, set up this audio, get everything going. And they're emailing saying, listen, these people are speaking out loud about how something is different. They're viscerally feeling how that meeting changes based on these few things. A lot of people tend to think, okay, video matters for platforms, for YouTube and LinkedIn and places like that. But what's really interesting, and one of the things I've found most powerful, is I'm a guy who sells expensive things, right? Consulting engagements, programs, all kinds of stuff. And when you send over that proposal, include a link to an unlisted YouTube video, a video that just goes into a little bit more depth about the work you're going to do. In that proposal, you're mapping out, here's the success outcomes, here's how much it costs, here's why this will be great. But you need to be very specific in that document. With the video, you can talk about the vision. Us working together is going to lead to these changes, which is going to grow your bottom line. I'm so excited about the potential of us working together. There's so much more heart that can be compressed into that video, and that video combined with the proposal becomes pretty unstoppable. Sometimes if you're selling something really expensive, it takes 5 to 10 meetings. Enterprise sales works like this a lot. I noticed a really interesting pattern, which is if people have seen you on camera and you've looked and sounded great and your words have been good, or they've been seeing you on LinkedIn, right? They scroll through LinkedIn and they see you every once in a while sharing a few ideas, a few stories about your work. If that's happened and they've seen you on camera and you've been good on camera and your production's been strong, the first meeting feels like the fourth meeting. There is rapport. There is a sense of connection that as a salesperson, you are trying to cultivate. This is like a secret weapon. It's like a trust accelerator. It's getting them to feel a sense of connection to you and get a sense of who you are. I see video as not the only medium one should invest in as an entrepreneur or a business person. I think it is just an important tool in the tool belt. There are advantages and disadvantages to the meeting. Video gets people to feel things. And usually when people buy things, as much as we want to believe it's an intellectual, logical process, it's very often a feeling process. So video is great for that. But text is, currently the way SEO works, text is far superior. You can also scan text. You can't scan video. So having good writing, I'm a strong believer of having writing and other ways of people experiencing what it is you do. So I think that if you're an entrepreneur, what's important is that you're sharing your knowledge with the world through a couple different mediums. But I also am a big, big fan of email just because video tends to live on these platforms. Whereas a newsletter that you run. I run a newsletter and it's the core economic engine of my business. It shares tips on video and entrepreneurship. And the thing about newsletters is that people have tried video newsletters before and it's kind of an inelegant pairing. So I really recommend video alongside a few other approaches, whether it's blogging, whether it's a newsletter. Doing these things together provides a really nice constellation of forces that can move your business forward.